We begin with the situation in Gaza, where dozens of people have been killed in Israeli airstrikes in the past 24 hours. The attacks took place across the Strip and came as Iran's supreme leader announced Hamas is alive and will remain alive, despite the death of its leader, Yahya Sinwar, earlier this week. Well, let's take you through the latest developments. Earlier today, a drone was fired from Lebanon at the Israeli Prime Minister's holiday home in the town of Caesarea. Neither Benjamin Netanyahu or his wife were at the house, and there were no reports of any injuries. Meanwhile, in Lebanon, 2 people were killed in an Israeli strike near the Christian-majority town of Junia, north of the capital, Beirut. In central Gaza, at least 10 people, including 2 children, were killed in an Israeli strike on the town of Zawada. Another strike killed 11 people, all from the same family, in the Al-Maghazi refugee camp in Deir al-Balah. And overnight in Jabalia, in northern Gaza, Israeli forces struck at least 3 houses, killing at least 40 people. The health ministry there said more than half were women and children. From Jerusalem, Adam Parsons reports.
In Gaza today, fear, panic and yet more deaths. An Israeli airstrike hit the Maghazi refugee camp in central Gaza. It's believed at least 12 members of the same extended family died here, and there were other deaths and other attacks. At the Jabalia camp, flames rolling out from a school. The camp's been bombarded by artillery for hours. And it's not just Gaza that Israel has targeted. This is Junia, on the edge of Beirut, 2 killed here as Israel continued its assault on its northern neighbour.
We could hear the sound of the drone. I was 3 minutes away from the strike. When I got here, it had struck. There were 2 people, a man and his wife, who were dead. Their body parts were everywhere, all the way to the police point there.
This is not one-way traffic. Israel says around 55 projectiles were fired into its northern towns from Lebanon. Nobody was reported injured, but a drone did land near this, a house owned by the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. There was no damage, and he seemed untroubled.
We're going to win this war.
So will something deter you?
No.
And all this in the wake of the death of the Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar, killed by Israeli forces. The Israeli military has now released footage of Sinwar and his family moving into a tunnel just before October 7th, the day of the attacks that he masterminded and which were the catalyst for all that has followed.
There were no hostages with Sinwar when he was eliminated. Killing Sinwar is the result of a year of operational and intelligence efforts to bring him and other Hamas leaders to justice. Sinwar has been eliminated, but our mission is not over. We will not rest until we bring all our hostages home, by any means possible.
Ali Khamenei, Iran's supreme leader, praised Sinwar as a shining face of resistance and declared that Hamas is alive and will remain alive. Khamenei doesn't just mourn Sinwar, he watches these fresh attacks and wonders when and how Israel will launch its missiles in Iran's direction. That attack is surely inevitable. Adam Parsons, Sky News, Jerusalem.